Hey, what's going on? It's Andy Blanks again with another teacher prep video. This video is for lesson 3 of the Jesus and Your Influence Bible study from our Jesus Studies curriculum. That's a mouthful, isn't it? I hope you've enjoyed the first 2 lessons, and they're really leading up to this. Is kind of a cool point. I really like this lesson. It's a narrative passage, as a lot of our Jesus Studies passages are. And so it's easy to teach. I think it's easy for students to kind of grasp the main point. And again, I think this is a really relevant point, a lesson for your students, one that in their worlds they can really see ways to put it to use. So let's jump right in. We are looking at a great narrative, really sort of from the end of Jesus's life, the end of Jesus's time on earth, out of John 13. And this is where Jesus washes the feet of the disciples at the last Passover that he ate with them at the Last Supper. It's a familiar passage to your students, but it's just such a powerful one. It's so rich. I really think there's a lot to pull out here from the passage. The main point we want to make here, of course, you know the story, where Jesus sort of breaks convention, and during the meal, which again was a little unusual. Normally the foot washing would come at the beginning of the meal when the guests were gathered. During the middle of the meal, Jesus sort of removes his robe, probably to the waist, grabs a bowl and begins to wash his disciples' feet. Why is this unusual? You've probably heard this before. Ideally, this would have been done by a servant, or if there were no servant in place, done by the owner, the host. It was a sign of hospitality. Remember, Jewish culture was extremely hospitality driven, and Orthodox Jewish culture still is today. And so this was a sign of respect and a sign of honor. It was also just a prudent sort of pragmatic thing to do. Keep in mind, a lot of times in this time period, they would have they would have eaten reclined. They would have laid, sort of rested, laid down at a low table, with maybe their feet to the side or their feet back to them. And keep in mind, they didn't have, they weren't rocking chacos. They had sort of flimsy leather sandals, kind of, strappy sandals. And they're walking in dust and dirt and animal waste, kind of gross stuff, right? So they would bring that into an eating environment, and it became important to have your feet washed. A rabbi, a teacher, would have never washed his disciples' feet, ever, ever, ever. It would have been the opposite. The students would have washed the rabbi's feet. And so Jesus washing the disciples' feet was groundbreaking, revolutionary, uncomfortable, awkward, in a wonderful way for the disciples. And it blew the disciples' minds. It was a powerful, powerful moment of teaching. And Jesus modeled one very clear truth to them, and that was, you should never be above serving others. And in fact, if you want to have sort of this gospel-driven, Christ-centered influence, not only should you not be above serving others, you should actually radically seek out ways to put other people's needs above your own. So you're going to challenge your students to do that, just to be people who are aware of others' needs, and to begin thinking like people, using their influence to meet other people's needs before their own, and to serve others. You're going to challenge your students to very practically consider people in their lives whom they can serve. It's very simple. And then identify some ways to do it. And if you're really on the ball, you'll follow up with a text message or a phone call during the week and say, hey, you said that you were going to do your brother's chores this week because he had that big test at school. I just want to make sure that you did that. Help them follow up with them, help them be accountable, and help them understand that one of the best ways they can use their influence, one of the best ways they can really show the world the difference Christ makes in their life, is to serve others, is to put others' needs above their own. It's a great lesson. I think it's going to go really well for you. And it should be fun to teach. If you've got any questions, call us, live chat us, email us. We're always here for you. Love talking to you. And we look forward to helping you and praying for you, and hope your lesson goes great. I will talk to you on our final teacher prep video for lesson 4. Take care.